Hey, I'm Brett Larkin, and welcome to the Yoga Hacks podcast, where we make yoga so much more than just something we do on a mat. We're talking hacky ways to stretch and feel good in our daily lives, using yoga philosophy to solve everyday problems. Ultimately, this is about you wanting to live your best life and feel amazing in your body using yoga and meditation as a tool. It's time to get creative, time to have fun, and remember, you can always be stretching, you can always be centered, you can always feel great in your body. Let's jump in to this week's episode. Hello everyone, and welcome to this episode of the Yoga Hacks podcast. And today I have a friend of mine and a big, just amazing woman and inspiration, Ashley Burnett, with me. And Ashley is a business and leadership coach, but she's also a dancer. So she has a love of movement and obviously a yogi. She's come to my yoga class in the past. So that's how we know each other. It's through yoga that we connected. And what she's really focused on right now is helping leaders, women specifically, and business owners really embody their message and get more comfortable speaking on stage and running live events. And Ashley herself has facilitated and spoken at more than 100 live events, a few of which I've been to, which I think is really cool. But I'm really excited to talk to her today to learn a little bit more about how we can really embody what we believe in, because we're all leaders in our own life, and to get some of her own yoga hacks for how she gets movement integrated in her life. So I think it's going to be a really great episode. So hi, Ashley.
Hey, I'm so excited to be here, Brett. Thank you so much for having me on your show. And I'm just really excited to connect with everyone and share some of my expertise with people.
Awesome. I'm so excited to get to chat with you, because I always feel empowered and amazing after I do anything with you. So
Yay!
Hopefully all the listeners will feel the same way. So my first question for you, and I think hopefully, I'm guessing other people maybe have the same question when they hear this term, which is embodied leadership. So it's a word and a phrase that you use a lot. And I'd love for you to tell us what that really means, because it brings up all kinds of ideas in my head. So what is embodied leadership as you define it?
Yeah. So, I mean, so many people are in leadership roles, right? And a lot of times, people think of leadership as being like the CEO of a big company or something like that. But, if you're in a manager position, if you are a small business owner, if you are a teacher, if you're a mother or a father, I mean, we're all in roles of leadership, right? And the reality is that a lot of fear can pop up when we step into these roles of leadership, especially if we are heightening our visibility and deepening our sense of leadership or building our communities on a larger scale. A lot of times I think in this techie day and age, it's so easy to disconnect from our body's wisdom and power, right? And when we do that, fear, doubt, and playing smaller than we like is often the result, right? So I think it's so important for what I'm advocating to, and I fell into a hole with this, right? I was a modern dancer for years and years and years and years, and I danced professionally and taught and all of this stuff. And then I started this online business, and I really started to ignore the embodiment. I started to ignore myself and really just turn into my computer. And so I think it's really important.
A lot of listeners can relate to that, because I know on my YouTube channel, one of the biggest requests I get is I'm sitting at my desk all day. I feel like I have hunchback, my shoulders hurt, so you're touching on a really universal thing.
Exactly. And I'll share you guys a little tip with you guys, when you are sitting at that desk, what you can do to kind of protect your energy with that. But I think it's really important for us to get off of our computers, back into our bodies. And through my study, extensive study, 17 plus years of somatics, embodiment, and leadership work, and dance and theater and all of that. Through that work, I've come up with some basic principles and exercises that I feel, and through my different trainings that I've taken around leadership embodiment that can recognize the body's habitual stress patterning. And when we get into that fear mode, and the idea is to develop alternative response patterning that taps into our own power, our own strength, and our creativity, right? Because when we get into stress mode, cortisol level kicks in, it cuts out big picture thinking and risk taking, and we basically become frozen, right? So the body is the shortcut to moving through any sort of fear when we're in leadership roles and moving forward with visibility, right? Cool. So that's kind of what embodied leadership means to me. And also the idea is, like, when I work with my clients, is helping them to access that power and that strength through the body every time that they step up and speak up for their missions and their messages with power and confidence, right? So that's kind of the idea there.
Got it. So, I mean, I don't want to beat around the bush. I'm desperate to know and kind of hear your tips. For me and like so many other people, you know, we have a mission, we have either a way we're trying to live our lives authentically, or we maybe even have a whole business around that. You know, and we're spending a lot of time at a desk in front of our computer. You know, what are your suggestions for me and for us on how we can kind of pull ourselves back into our body? Because I know how powerful that is, you know, with my dance and movement background too, but also because I've done it with you. I've heard your kind of meditation where you really get us powered in our body. And I felt so powerful. I mean, like, I felt like a female superhero.
Yeah.
So like, how can we feel like that more of our day instead of like, you know, drinking coffee slumped over the desk? So I'd love if you have just like pointers or ideas. I think people would love to hear that.
Yeah. So one tip is a centering exercise that's super easy. You can even, you know, I love to do this standing up personally, but if you're sitting at your desk, you can do this as well. And this is really great to do as a ritual practice, in the sense of like, you know, doing it throughout your day consistently. And kind of like, for me, I do it before each interview, I do it before each client. So it's kind of consistent throughout my day that I'm doing this. But you can also use it as a stressor is coming your way. So let's say you get an email that like freaks you out, or let's say someone comes up and has a criticism about you, or, you know, you start freaking out and having a fear come up about something. You can use this centering exercise. And it's very simple, people. It's very, very simple. But you can use this to kind of like protect your energy so that you don't take that criticism personally, and you can get perspective, and you also can get back into your body. And so that you can slash out the cortisol levels, right? So this is the idea, is that, well, go ahead and just find a comfortable seat or stand.
Okay.
Take a couple deep breaths in and out. And what you want to do is uplift your spine to its natural upright position, right? So a lot, like you just said, a lot of people are slouching in your desk. So you want to take a deep breath in, uplift your spine, and actually imagine that you have champagne bubbles coming out of the top of your head.
Love that.
And then let the air go, and let anything go down the front of your body that doesn't serve you. Think of something that makes you smile. Just take a second to access that. And then this might be a little bit more challenging, and we'll go through this again. But you want to play with expanding your personal space. So right now, probably a lot of people's personal space is really close to them, right? So it's like, you think about like your quote unquote energy field. I don't want to get too woo woo for your people here, but you know, thinking about the little bubble that's around you that's kind of protecting you, right? What we want to do is try to expand that out by like 10 feet. So we're playing with moving out this personal space into a place of inclusion rather than like keeping everything really tight in within us. So I'm going to go back to the beginning, and I want you to go ahead and uplift your spine, taking a deep breath in, champagne bubbles through the top of the head. Breathing out, really let anything go that doesn't serve you through your mouth. Think of something that makes you smile. And then expand your personal space or your personal energy bubble or field out 10 feet and think about including people that you love into that circle. And then just release that. And just notice how you feel different. And Brett, I'd love to just hear from you what
it feels so different.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's really cool. And I love how you broke it down into 4 steps for us. Mm-hmm. Because I think that's easy enough to remember. Like that could go on a phone or a Post-it note. You know, the champagne bubbles up, the breath out, the little smile, and then the inclusion. I really felt and hopefully everyone did it with us, but I really felt that my personal space felt very small, like very close to my skin. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh no, it's just like this big aura that I kind of leash out. And
exactly,
you feel calmer when you are in that space.
Right. So let me just tell you what just happened from a more scientific and kind of neurological standpoint is, again, like when we're in that stressed out space, our cortisol levels are going off the roof. Right. And that again cuts out big picture thinking, risk taking, all of that kind of stuff that makes us move forward. So what we want to do is kind of create a little cocktail of sorts of testosterone and oxytocin. All right. So the testosterone piece is when you're up centering and reclaiming that natural posture, that's bringing in the testosterone levels. And when you think of something that makes you smile, that's bringing in more love and inclusions. It floods the body with oxytocin, which is going to slash out, that cocktail is going to slash out cortisol levels. And that's why you felt so good after you did that. Okay. The other idea is that when you're expanding the personal space, and for some of you, this may be harder, but you can try to play with it. Think about big leaders like Mandela or something, someone like that. They had to expand their personal space to include hundreds of thousands of people that they were serving. So when they expand the personal space out, what happens is any criticism, because those people, Mother Teresa, Mandela, Gandhi, they got a shit ton of criticism, right? So they were able to expand the personal space out, but they let the criticism land in the space rather than in their bodies. And that's what you want to be playing with as you get that email, you get that criticism, or you get in a fight with your husband or whatever's coming up. You really want to expand that space out in that moment. And as you ritualize this and do this throughout your day, it's going to be easier when a stressor does come your way to expand the space out, let the criticism fall into space so that your body isn't taking it personally, so that you're not taking it personally. You can get perspective from it. And then you can see, is there something of value here that I can learn from or grow from? And it's really going to help you to not feel as bad as criticism or a stressor comes your way.
I love that you're calling it a cocktail, because I feel like it's really fun, but it's also such a great word because it reminds me that I think, people think it's okay to take care of yourself to, go get a coffee or go get a glass of water or, have an actual cocktail and drink. Right. But when you say it like that, it's just like, this is an everyday thing we can do to take care of ourselves, just like, popping in a cough drop if we had a sore throat, it's really that practical.
Yeah. And this is an exercise you can do in 1 minute, right? So it's like 30 seconds. So it's like something that you can do at your desk and kind of, do this consistently so that it becomes kind of ingrained in you, so that when something stressful comes up, it's like, no, okay, I can take some deep breaths. I can champagne bubble. I can relax. You know what I mean? So it's a really beautiful tool. And I did, this is from work that I did with Wendy Palmer, leadership embodiment work. And so, I love this work, and I've adapted it and,
I love you giving us this example too, because, I think some people might struggle and say, oh, well, I'm not a CEO, like you said, right? Am I really a leader? But when you put it this way, it's just
anyone
being
can
in
use
control
this.
of yourself. Yeah,
anyone
exactly.
Yeah, great.
Exactly. So I'm just curious about, any other tips you have like that for us. And I know one thing that we've, kind of emailed or talked about is power posing. And I don't know if you're excited to talk to me about that or not.
Oh, I love it.
Okay.
I love it. We kind of did this at Replenish at the retreat that I did that you came to. Mm-hmm. So this isn't something that, this isn't something I came up with, but there is a woman, and some of you guys may have seen it on Netflix. It's a TED Talk. She's a social psychologist, Amy Cuddy, and she has been studying the effects of body language and how body language affects how others see us, but it also can change how we see ourselves. And so she has talked about, this idea of power posing and how standing in a posture of confidence, even when we don't feel confident, can, again, and we're talking about the neurological kind of effects here, can affect testosterone and cortisol levels in the brain, right? And has an impact on our chances for success moving forward. So I would highly recommend that everyone actually watch the TED Talk, and you can search Amy.
I would too. It's fantastic. I've seen it and I loved it. And I would love to hear from you, just because this is your world and this is what you're really specialized in. Yep. Is there any power poses you can share with us that you do, like during your day or like something? Yeah,
one of the ones that I absolutely love to do, and especially because, I find it really interesting because before I was doing leadership and embodiment and kind of business coaching, I was doing positive body image coaching, and really helping women specifically to honor their own unique body. And I'm mentioning this just because I find it interesting that women are always tending to wanting to shrink their bodies mm-hmm. and take up less space and kind of shrink down and hide. But then there's this like opposite desire to get out and like be seen and heard and all of that kind of stuff. So I just find that interesting. I wanted to kind of put it in there that, wait a minute, do we need to shrink? Do we need to shrink to be seen and heard? Or can we just really honor what phase our body is in right now and take up more space? So that's the reason I brought it up, is around this idea of taking up space. And my favorite power pose really is the one that we did do at Replenish, where you actually stand up. So you can go ahead and actually stand right now. This might look a little weird if you're at the office.
Hey, that's what the handicap bathroom stall is for. I know, right?
You go into the bathroom and exactly. I love it.
I used to work in corporate. Like I was doing handstands in the handicap bathroom stall, just because it's like the bigger stall. So I talk about that a lot in my Yoga Hacks course. All those little tricks.
Exactly. Oh, girl, meditating on that stall, putting your sunglasses on in the park. Yeah, I got it.
So I'm doing it. I'm in a big X right now.
So you're standing up and you're going to actually make a huge X with your body. And you're taking in deep breaths in and out, and you're taking up as much space as possible. And as you're doing this, I want you to actually visualize yourself, picture yourself as the bravest version of yourself. So take up the space and see yourself as the bravest version of you. And what are you doing? What are you doing when you're the bravest version of yourself? What are you wearing? Taking deep breaths in and out. Who are you with? What do you see? What do you taste? What do you smell? Really slip yourself into the fingers and toe slots of that bravest version of you in this huge X. And most importantly, notice how you feel as the bravest version of yourself. And take one more deep breath in and out. And when you're ready, you can go ahead and release that and just notice how you feel differently in 30 seconds to a minute of accessing this bravest version of you as you are practicing this power pose.
I love this one. And just to share my experiences, I feel pumped up, but at the same time, I feel way more relaxed than when I did it. It's just really interesting. It's almost like accessing a lot of the energy I think a lot of us have that tends to have anxiety or nervousness attached to it. And in doing the power pose and being the bravest version of me, it's like that energy just became pure, right? It just became pure energy without the anxiety, without the other things that I think often slip in to our natural energy.
I love that you said that because, again, the other practice that I shared is really great when a stressor is coming your way. And of course, for a lot of people, a huge stressor is public speaking or stepping up on stage. But this is a really great one to use before getting up on stage, before going into a big meeting that might be freaking you out and stressing you out, before you have have a talk with someone that might be a difficult conversation. And you're going to notice that not only are you a little bit more relaxed, but you are going to feel really strong and grounded as you're in that more relaxed space.
I love, love, love that one because, there are some great meditations and exercises, but they just get you really calm, not to the point that then you want to go teach or speak after. So this is such a great one for everyone to have in their back pocket, I think. Yeah.
Great.
Awesome. So I just want to keep pumping you for tips so all our listeners can benefit. So I'm curious if there's anything else you want to share with us in terms of exercises around all this embodied leadership stuff, which is so cool. I don't know if you have some tips for us either about how we can get centered at the beginning of our day or just, again, this is all about what I'm really passionate about is just how we can integrate this into our daily lives, right? So we don't just go to a yoga class. It's like, what are we doing? The computer breaks, all the stuff we're talking about. So are there kind of hacky ways that you add more movement into your day-to-day? You've told us a lot already, but is there anything else you want to share?
Yeah, one of the things I would just say is to actually start your day. Like with my clients, with my coaching clients, and these, women are in higher levels of leadership, running their own businesses. And, I think that what I would really suggest and what I tell my clients to do is actually start the morning out. And it can be maybe after you have your morning coffee or something like that. But depending on what is going to work for you, but start your day, make it a daily ritual to start out accessing this bravest version of yourself.
I love it.
And then you could even, because I start my day doing a daily morning meditation most of the time. And so you could kind of bring it into, okay, I'm going to do like a bit of sitting. Maybe I'll take it into that, the practice that I taught you first around centering, and then going into accessing the bravest version. So you've got kind of this morning routine that helps you to get into that space. So that's one option. And then of course, as I'm a dancer and I'm a mover and I'm a shaker and I like to, shake my tail feathers. I really, I love doing these midday booty break sessions is what I call them. Because, we're sitting on our computers day in, day out. It's completely difficult for our body. So getting up, at the bare minimum, get up every single hour and just take a walk. Like even if it's a minute where you get up, no one should be sitting down for longer than an hour at a time. And I have to tell myself this because I get sucked into that vortex also. But it actually can shorten your life to sit that much. So we need to get up, we need to move. And if you're up for it, then get up and go do a booty break session and literally, put some music on. And you guys, if you end up, following me and coming over to strongbodylove.com, you can get more inspiration on little dance breaks and embodiment practices as well. But, that's something I would just say, like, put some music on that makes you jazzed, and go into that bathroom again, put your earbuds on and like move it in the handicap bathroom for 2 minutes.
Yeah, totally. I love it. I love that
completely. Again, that is going to release the cortisol levels. Again, talking about that, really bring in these kind of almost euphoric feelings, and really flooding the brain with oxytocin and testosterone. That's going to help us to not only feel energized again, but also feel more confident as we go into our meetings and our daily lives, and even when we send an email that might feel a little stressful to send.
Well, I love that, and I really love the part about the morning, because I encourage everyone. They know my hashtag. It's #alwaysmorningyoga. I really encourage everyone to do yoga in the morning. I really admire people who can meditate first thing in the morning. Like when I get up, I have to move first. Like the down dog and the child's pose and the cat cow has to be the first thing. But what I really love about the exercises you taught us and the tips you gave us, and I really challenge all our listeners to start incorporating those into your personal morning yoga practice, because this is a group of yogis, right, who's listening. So I'd love for you all to start thinking about, and I'm thinking about, I have my morning yoga routine. How can I just kind of build this in, whether it's something that happens at the beginning or happens at the end? And, a lot of you do my videos on YouTube and you're following along, which is great. But all of you also hopefully know that my biggest message is you need to personalize your practice. You need to find what, is right for you. And it doesn't have to just be yoga, right? It can be bringing in all these things we're talking about: somatic work, meditation, power posing, and kind of, to use our favorite word, cocktail, right? Like, what is your morning cocktail?
It's a Friday.
Yeah, I know, right?
when we're interviewing, it's a Friday.
Like, maybe we should call it the morning energizer smoothie. But like, what's your equivalent of that for your movement practice in the morning? And I think that's just such a great note to kind of wrap up on and think about. And, Ashley, your tips have been so good. I love your work. And on that note, I know you have a free call coming up and you have some programs coming up. I think it would be great so people know they can get in touch with you. Obviously, you've told us strongbodylove.com is where you can connect with Ashley. But tell us about this free call you have, because if people want to go deeper with you on embodied leadership, I know I'm going to join the free call. So why don't you tell people what's it about, just so they can join in if they want to know more?
Yeah. So the free call is called Claim Your Uninhibited Power and Take the Stage for Your Mission. And it's really about learning how to deepen your confidence, increase visibility, and scale your work through the power of the stage. And, it's geared towards business women, but to be completely honest, for anyone that's in a leadership role, it's going to be completely beneficial and useful to hop on this call and check it out.
And I really think we're all in leadership roles, not to interrupt you, Ashley, but one of the most powerful things a coach ever said to me, especially if you're a yogi, you are the leader of your family. You are the leader of your family. Like, if you're someone who's practicing yoga regularly and really working on yourself and kind of aware of all these principles, whether you want to be or not, you're the leader of your family. And I for me, that was just really powerful. So sorry, just want to interject.
No,
here.
I mean, I totally agree with you. And so on the call, we are going to be really focusing inward to, I'm going to be sharing my, a couple more of my core embodiment strategies for next level leadership. We're going to talk about pre-stage or pre-meeting confidence boosting rituals. We're going to talk about different effective practices to repattern our brains and conquer any fears that come up around visibility. And, really kind of help you to move forward in accessing your power, because I think so many people in general, they really stuff that power down and they play smaller than they want to. And, this is all about expansion, all about kind of claiming and embodying what it is that we really take a stand for. And so that's what, this call is all about. So the call is next Wednesday, September, or this coming Wednesday, depending on when you're listening to this, this coming Wednesday, September 16th at 12 noon Eastern or 9 a.m. Pacific time.
Perfect. And if people sign up, can they get the recording even if they can't join it live?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, It's always great to be there live if you can make it, but if not, you can sign up still and we'll send you the recording a few days later. And you can go to strongbodylove.com/free-video-training. And you can join us, and it's pretty cool. We'll be on the Zoom platform. You can either call in with your phone, or you can join us from the web and you can be able to see me via video. And that'll be fun too.
The Zoom platform is really cool, guys. I recently guest taught at one of Ashley's events through Zoom virtually, and it was a really cool experience. So that's great. And I will put the URLs to all of this on or around the podcast as well. So guys, just look, either below the video, and I'll provide links. So Ashley, thank you so much. It's always such a joy to talk to you. And yeah, I hope I get to see you soon.
I know, me too. I know. For all of you guys tuning in here, I just moved from San Francisco out to the country, wine country, Sonoma County, and it's awesome, but we've got cows across the street now and it's just a different pace of life, and I'm missing all my city people. So
yeah, we miss you.
Hopefully we'll see you soon, girl.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much.
And thank you so much for having me on the show. I really, really appreciate it.
Of course.
Hope you guys got a lot out of it.
Cool. All right. Well, everyone, thanks so much for joining us, and tune in next time. Thank you so much for listening and joining me all the way to the very end. Make sure you're subscribed to my YouTube channel. You've downloaded my app full of free yoga classes that also has episodes of this podcast right in the app. Jump over to BaretteLarkin.com, get my free 18 days of awesome yoga jumpstart if you haven't done that already, and start integrating stretching into your day-to-day routine for real at alwaysbestretching.com. Remember, you can tweet to send requests or questions about the show to @LarkinYogaTV. And it would mean so much to me if you shared this podcast with a friend. Since you're here with me till the very, very end, I also wanted to invite you to join my private Facebook group where I talk about hacking yoga and meditation into my daily life and give you ideas on how you can do the same, sharing things that I usually just don't feel comfortable putting on YouTube or my public page. Just go to yogahackscommunity.com, all one word, Yoga Hacks Community, and click Request Access to join. Until next time, remember, always be doing yoga, always be stretching.